All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm really excited that I get to have you hear from my friend, Patti Benson. She has been on a mission to inspire people to be healthier for a long time. And she's somebody who has dealt with cancer. She understands the importance of great nutrition and hydration, exercise, rest, and spirituality as a bridge for optimal wellness. I'm Reagan Dean, by the way, and I am with the Juice Plus Company. And so I'm just so excited that you guys get to be here. Patti's passion to share this message was driven by her diagnosis, subsequent surgery, which you guys are going to hear about, chemotherapy treatment for over 23 years ago for ovarian cancer. And then unfortunately today, Patti's on a different cancer journey. But by the grace of God, her desire to be a resource for others so that they can be armed with the ability to live their healthiest lifestyle, no matter what the situation is what she's doing today. So she's a passionate speaker who loves to share valuable resources. So you guys get a pen and paper out because you're going to get some great ideas, not only maybe for yourself, but maybe to be a resource for some other people that you may come across in your life. Patti's also an LPGA Professional Hall of Fame member, pretty cool. With over 43 years of experience in golf instruction, she taught at Palm Beach Country Club for 34 years. And she also served as the national president for the LPGA and LPGA Board of Directors for 8 years. She's also a certified health coach through Dr. William Sears and certified Transform 30 health coach. She's a certified coach, teacher, and speaker with the John Maxwell team as well. She's a very inspirational person to so many people. And she and her husband, Bobby, they live in West Palm Beach, Florida. They've been married for 38 years and they have 3 adorable fur baby doggies, which we may hear bark because one of them's a little bit of a barker, but we love little Gracie. So I'm sure Bobby will nip that if that happens. So anyway, she and Bobby, besides being golf professionals, have been with the Juice Plus Company for over 18 years, and they love to inspire healthy living around the world and inspire others to do the same. So Patti, welcome to our call tonight.
Thank you, Reagan. Appreciate that. Great intro. I appreciate all the nice things you said. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be.
You know, I know a lot of people are on because they might, have a cancer experience themselves, or maybe they know somebody that they're looking for, just some valuable information. So, share your story with us.
Okay, I will. And thanks all of you for being on. Appreciate you taking the time this evening. And I hope that some of the tips that I give you today, you can use for yourself. And like Reagan said, for others. And I was also going to say, take notes. And if you don't want to take notes anyway, because it's known that if you take notes and listen, you'll retain much more than if you just if you're just listening alone. So the other thing I want to tell you is that I'm not a doctor. I'm a health coach. But that doesn't mean that this is, medical advice. This is not medical advice. When it comes time to diagnoses for any kind of illness, you really need to make sure that you're in contact with a healthcare professional of some sort. So please make a note of that, as well as because I do work with an oncologist and several other doctors as well. And I think it's important that they're on board with what you're doing, which I'm grateful my oncologist is. So that's a wonderful thing. The other thing I want to talk to you about is that this is as much about dealing with this illness, whatever it is that you may have. It doesn't have to be cancer. There's all kinds of illnesses out there that are devastating. There's heart disease, and there's, all the immune function, autoimmune diseases that are out there. And there's all kinds of different things that people go through. And so this really can serve its purpose for any of those things, because the bottom line is, disease really starts with one thing, and it's called inflammation. And you're going to find out a little bit later how what we're doing helps those kinds of things. So it's important to note that this is about prevention as well as going through the illness. So why wait till you have an illness to take care of these things, right? You want to make sure that you don't get them in the first place. So why not start practicing and being proactive about your health if you're feeling good and you don't have anything going on. I mean, that's the real key of this whole thing. And even though that may be true that you might do that, something can still get you anyway. So you just, we live in a very toxic environment, unfortunately. Stuff that's, sprayed on the earth, and all the nuclear things that have gone on actually have affected our entire system and affects our health too. So sometimes you can't, you just can't stop it. DNA has a little bit to do with it, but really it's in our atmosphere. So with that being said, let me just start by saying Reagan said it right. In 1999, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. In 1997, I had fibroid tumors, and they took them out, left the ovaries, and a couple of years later, the ovaries, the scar tissue wrapped around both of the ovaries, and they became cancerous. And so I had a surgery to get rid of, everything else that was in there and my appendix. And it was indeed cancer. It was early stage, though. It was what they call 1B, and that means both ovaries, but it hasn't spread anywhere else. So I was very fortunate. I did have chemotherapy, which I thought was going to absolutely destroy me. And I swore I'd never have it again. And it was tough. And in fact, the very chemo that I had is what's caused this cancer to come through. So this is not a continuation of what happened to me 22 years ago. This is actually a new cancer that was caused.
And that's quite common, right? I mean, a lot of people can sometimes get a secondary cancer from the treatment.
Absolutely. And, they don't talk about it much, but my oncologist happened to tell me that was true. So, it's an unfortunate thing, and it happens, and sometimes it works that way, but, you have to do what you have to do, right?
That's right.
Excuse me, it's dry here today. So what I really want to also tell you is that after that diagnosis, how I found out about the product that I want to talk a little bit about, plus the other great tips I want to give you, is Juice Plus. And how I found out about it was about a few years after my diagnosis and cancer treatments and surgery and all that. I was supposed to play in an LPGA event out in California. And I went out there because I was an officer. So actually I was supposed to be out there, but I wasn't playing. And one of my LPGA colleagues says, "You're not playing. I don't see your name on the list." I said, "I just can't." And I'm about 44 years old, something in that neighborhood. And she says, "Why?" And I said, I just, ever since I've had the chemo and the surgery, I have just not felt up for it. I just don't, if I can hardly play 9 holes. And she told me I needed Juice Plus. And I was like, "I don't know what you're even talking about." And I said, "Well, tell me more." So she did. And she said that it was something in a capsule. That's really all I heard. Sometimes you block out everything else. And I said, "Whoa, capsules. I'm sorry, I can't take vitamins. They make me sick to my stomach." And she said, "This is not a capsule. This is fruit and veggie powders that have been put into capsule or soft chewable form. And the really cool thing about it is we all know we need more fruits and vegetables in our diet. We aren't getting them." And I was like, "Well, you're right. I don't eat enough of them, and I love them, but I just know I don't eat enough of them." So I said, "Send them. If I take them and I get sick, you're getting them back." And she said, "No problem." And that was, like Reagan said, 18 years ago. So I've been blessed to actually have Juice Plus on board in my body all of these years to help protect me. I do know one thing. And this is kind of more testimony than it is factual. Not everybody has this result, but I don't get as sick as I used to before Juice Plus. I mean, I used to get every bronchitis, every cold, every strep, every other thing. And that doesn't really happen to me anymore. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm careful, I'm proactive about being careful too, so I don't pick up germs. But in the meantime, it's done great things for my body. So you fast forward to 20.
Okay, I have a question for you there. So you got on Juice Plus. So here you were, you couldn't play in your golf tournament. You didn't have any energy, and you trusted your friend enough to just give it a try. Why did it make sense to you there? Like, why did you say yeah? Because there's a lot of stuff out there on the market that is really kind of scary, and you probably shouldn't take if you have something going on. So what gave you the confidence to be able to try it? And what did it do for you afterwards?
Well, that's a great question, Reagan. And I appreciate you asking that, because it really is important. The reason that I said yes is because, first of all, I knew always, my mother was kind of a health nut too. We called each other for health nuts. We were both that. And I knew the power of fruits and vegetables. I knew I wasn't getting enough. So it made sense to me that if we could get that many, 30 different plants in a capsule form or a soft chewable form, what have I got to lose? It doesn't, and it was all from the earth. It was all God's bounty. It wasn't anything made in a laboratory. So when she explained all that to me, I thought, this makes perfect sense. And that was one reason. Plus, I believed in her. I knew her, and I knew that she wasn't going to lead me down the wrong path. So I put my faith and trust in her first. And then from there I went and actually believed, but I was a little skeptical. Don't get me wrong. I was skeptical. So what really happened to me afterwards is it took about good 6 months. It takes 4 months for the blood to really recirculate in your body and reprocess itself. But for me, because of all the toxicity I had in my body from the chemo, it took a good 6 months. But some things that I recognized and saw right off the top was that I had more energy. I was able to start playing golf again. I started feeling like myself again, instead of, feeling like I was about 20 years older. I started feeling, that I could wake up in the morning and kind of bounce out of bed instead of crawling out of bed. And then my blood test was the big thing, because my blood test had always been all over the map between cholesterol and between all the red and white blood cells. Nothing was ever in range where it was supposed to be. And I noticed that after 6 months, all of a sudden things were starting to be in range. And I had taken a blood test and I saw that. And I asked my doctor, I said, do you think these numbers are right? Because I said, they've never been in the right range. And he says, I don't know, why don't we give it a week or so and we'll retest you and see if something wasn't wonky, with the test. And sure enough, the numbers were very similar to the same, but always trending in the right direction for a change. And I thought, whoa, if that can do that for me, I said, what can it do for other people? And I started getting so excited about it. I wanted to share it with other people because I thought everybody needs this, because I bet you lots of people's numbers are off the charts, So that's really what happened to me, is I just started feeling amazing again in my normal self again. And it was just a blessing.
You probably started looking at some of the research on Juice Plus too, is my guess, because I know you.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I dug really deep into that. And that's what sets Juice Plus apart from all the other things that are out there. Like you mentioned, there's so much out there. What do you do? And today, actually, before I actually even look at anything, I need to make sure that it does have research. Juice Plus has over 40 research papers that have been tested on Juice Plus on people with what they call a double-blind, placebo-controlled gold standard, where they actually take a group of human beings, and they blood test them beforehand, and then they take half of the group, or whatever the amount that they chose, and they give them one placebo and the other one the real thing. And then they take their blood and they switch them without them knowing. They don't know whether they've had it or not. And then they go ahead and they retest in the blood after certain periods of time. Every place does it differently, and it's through universities and medical hospitals and universities all over the world have done these tests. And the results of the research is really phenomenal. And, you can't refute science. I'm sorry, you probably could try to fake it if you wanted to, but in this case, there's nothing that you can do to fix it. Whatever out there, whether it's good or bad for Juice Plus, it's published, and all the papers really have been positive. So it's really
in the top medical journals as well, and even one on ovarian cancer survivors as well, right?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's going to be backwards, isn't it? Darn it.
No, it's fine. No, it's
it is? Okay. It looks backwards to me. So this is called gynecologic oncology research. And basically this is a multi pages of stuff that are, really difficult to read, but I just want to tell you what has happened. So what they did was they took a group of ovarian cancer survivors that had stage 2 through 4. I had stage 1, so I wouldn't have been able to be eligible. And they were about age mean of 53 years. So what they did was they gave half of them to do a diet that was low fat, high fiber, of fruits and vegetables. And that's, so that was more fruit and vegetable targeted. And then they gave the other group our Juice Plus capsules, fruits, vegetables, and berry capsules, as well as our shake mix. And I want to show you those in a few minutes so that you can see what they look like. But they did that. And afterwards, what they found out was that the study supports the feasibility of designing dietary interventions for stages 2 through 4 ovarian cancer survivors, and provides preliminary evidence that a low-fat, high-fiber diet and a diet supplemented with the Juice Plus capsules can increase phytonutrients in ovarian cancer survivors. That was actually done at MD Anderson, which is the cancer center in Texas. And, if you stop and think about that, why would a cancer center test anything if they didn't think it was going to be good for the people, right? They wouldn't test anything that was harmful. So that right there was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. So it just all made perfect sense to me, but the research speaks for itself, truly.
Absolutely. And it's not just one, it's like you said, it's 40. And it's on everything from immune system, which is so important, especially if you're trying to fight something, or DNA repair is repairing better. So it's just a wonderful way to really flood your body with all those nutrients. And speaking of that, so you and I were speaking earlier today, and you were sharing with me a resource about eating the whole reason to eat more fruits and vegetables. And I thought maybe you might want to expand a little bit. Just why is it so important for people to get enough fruits and vegetables every day, let alone if they're going through cancer or something like that?
Great question. In our bodies, just if we're healthy people, we actually need 7 to 13 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables every day. And I don't know if anybody, and I know you guys can't answer me, but the amount of a serving is, if it's a leafy green, 1 cup is 1 serving. And if it's a denser thing like berries or that sort of thing, it's a half a cup. So stop and think about that. That means just a normal human healthy being needs 7 to 13 to maintain that proper healthy being. And how many people are eating 13 cups of salad? Or, it's mind-boggling, truly. Most people can't even get 5 in, let alone 7 to 13. So, and if you have an illness, now you might as well just forget those numbers, because now we're talking almost 20 servings you need every day just to maintain any kind of good health and try to get the body to start healing itself. So it's just impossible. And people say, oh, I juice. Well, that's great. But, stop and think, how many things can you really juice? You can't really juice 30 different fruits and vegetables, because even if you could find them, you probably couldn't afford it. And you really aren't going to find them. You aren't going to find them ripened on the vine like Juice Plus is. So just remember that Juice Plus it's encapsulated fruits and vegetables from God's bounty. There is nothing artificial in there. There's nothing that's made in a laboratory. It's all part of God's earth. And what can be better than that? It's just that it's in a powdered form, and it doesn't replace anything that we're supposed to eat. It just helps us when we can't meet the needs of our body. And I think what a great thing that is, but we need that in our body. And so I found very interesting through the Tony Robbins group. We're doing Tony Robbins classes now, but it's a guy named Anthony William, and his book is called Medical Medium. And one of his many books is called Life Changing Foods. This book is about 300 pages. I got through it in about 2 days. And I have to say, I couldn't believe some of the things I read, but he is an absolute advocate of fruits and vegetables. And I've had so many people, I've had actually holistic people tell me that you can't eat fruit. It's got too much sugar. It's going to feed your cancer. And I often worried about that. I truly did, because I thought, oh no. Well, I knew that wouldn't happen with Juice Plus, because Juice Plus takes all the sugar out of the fruits and vegetables when it's put into powder form. So I wasn't concerned about that, but I wanted to make sure I ate plenty of food too, of fruits and vegetables. And so I kind of steered away from a lot of stuff because of that. And he says that the fruit sugar is not nearly like it is with white sugar or corn syrups or all the stuff that's in the crappy stuff that's in our food. And so he says there's nothing to be fearful if you have a cancer diagnosis or any other kind of diagnosis. And, and for the keto people who don't believe in eating fruit, they're doing more harm than good for their bodies. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's true. We need to eat fruit and we need to eat vegetables, because it's the only thing that's going to get our body in a healing state. And after all, We're not getting younger. We're all getting older. Every single one of us. I don't care what age you are. We're all getting older, and we need to protect ourselves. We need to do the best we can for ourselves. This book is amazing. He has like 5 other books, and Amazon. You can get them on Amazon. It's well worth your time to read them and understand the importance of fruits and vegetables.
Well, I mean, your body makes its own medicine out of the phytochemicals, the vitamins and the minerals and all the enzymes that come in from fruits and vegetables that we only get from fruits and vegetables. So flooding our body with produce makes a lot of sense. So
it does. And remember I said of inflammation back a while ago, the cause of disease is inflammation. And actually the fruits and vegetables help reduce the inflammation in our body. Nothing else can do that.
So Patti, fast forward, now you are in another situation that you are battling and doing a great job at, by the way.
Thanks.
Your doctors are amazing. And I'm sorry that you're going through that, but you, through the middle of that, have been such a beautiful resource and a light for so many people. And we've really watched you healing is really all I can say. So will you share a little bit more with people, like what's going on?
Sure. Well, 3 years ago, I found a bump underneath my right rib cage, and I knew that something probably wasn't right. So I got it checked out and, found out that it was actually right ureter. The ureter comes out of the kidney and goes down to the bladder. And so I'm dealing with, let me talk to it that way, because it's not mine. I don't own that. That's something else I want to talk about too, is what we say about our diseases and things like that. We don't own them. So it's not my cancer. It's not, my this, my that, my illness. It's something I'm dealing with. And I saw something on Facebook the other day that said, this is not your whole story. This is just a chapter, so don't make it your whole story. So we're just dealing with the cancer right at the moment. So, but it's a tumor that's in the right ureter, and it's also in the bladder, and a little bit in the kidney, but that right now, the only thing that I'm really dealing with right now is ureter and in the bladder. So I'm healing, and that's a wonderful thing. It's just been a long journey, and that's, it does work that way. It's all in God's timing anyway. But the thing that really upset me was because I'd had a friend who told me, or, said to me, I thought that your Juice Plus is going to keep you from getting cancer. And I thought, well, I kind of thought that way myself, but the truth of the matter is that, I probably wouldn't even be here if I didn't have Juice Plus on board. That is the honest to God's truth. I don't think that I would even be here, because the Juice Plus, when I currently have my blood tested, which is like every week, all my numbers really are the doctor keeps saying, I just can't believe how good your numbers are. I'm really shocked. I have a little sodium issue, but that kind of goes inside with the kidney thing. But other than that, all the electrolytes, everything else is really in range. And, you can't refute that stuff either. Blood tests are blood tests. They tell you like it is. So I think that when the day is over with and I realized that, Juice Plus was only here to help me, it's not going to stop me from getting anything. And it won't stop anybody from getting anything, because there are other factors that go into play when you get a health diagnosis, whether it's cancer or whatever it is. And dietary issues and nutrition is just one part. And I don't think I realized that until after this diagnosis. So this diagnosis has actually been teaching me a lot of great, amazing things. One of them is patience, which I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm trying. So do you want me to go through my pillars? Okay.
I think that's so important. I know where you're going with that.
Great. Okay. So these are my tips, because I promised tips, right? I promised tips for everybody. So the tips are, here we go. So diet. Remember, I said diet. It's important. And it's a huge part. And in our family, we eat mostly organic. We eat mostly fruits and vegetables. That does not mean that we're vegan and we are not vegetarian. We still do eat animal products, but we don't eat nearly as many as we used to. We used to eat like large steaks like this. Now, Bobby and I can't even finish one that we share, So our plates are mostly filled with fruits and vegetables with a little bit of animal protein. I think that I need it personally for my health. Everybody can make their own decision on that. I'm not advocating one way or the other, but mostly plant food is so important. And we have Juice Plus has what's called the Shred 10 program that just fits in so beautifully with that as well. The secondary pillar is called stress. Now, I want to let you know that good stress, and there's good stress and bad stress, and good stress is important because good stress can drive you, it can make you do things that you need to do and make you feel like, okay, I want to get this accomplished, and make you have the impetus to do things to get things done. But bad stress are things that you're like worry and fear and unforgiveness. And unforgiveness is such an unfortunate part of stress. And these are unhealthy things. The news is stressful. You know, what's happening with our world in COVID, then Ukraine and all that. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I really can't watch it. Unfortunately, it comes through on the phone every 5 seconds. And it's like, get this out of here. I can't stand to look at it. But, you know, use the good stress for good purposes and to make you motivated. But try to eliminate some of the bad stress. Try to get, worry. You can't worry and have faith at the same time, so try to get rid of them. I love that too. And you can't, and unforgiveness is one of the biggest, because in your heart, if you're not forgiving of somebody or something that's happened to you, you really have to make peace with that somewhere, because it'll always eat at you and it will make disease happen and make disease not go away. It's so that important. And it's a choice. We have a choice. God gave us discernment so we can decide if we want to be forgiving of people or not. He forgave us. Why don't we forgive others? So let's go that way. The second thing is being grateful, or third thing, being grateful. And every night after, right before I go to bed, I write down between 3 and 5 things that I'm grateful for the day. And I think writing them down actually makes them real. That, you can think them in your head, but writing them down makes them real. And you can actually, journal about it and go back and look at it. And I think that's an important thing. But, there's always something to be grateful for every single day. We can look at the bad stuff, and it can take precedence over every single thing that we do in our lives. But you know what? We really need to say, I have more blessings than I have bad things going on. And let's make those blessings bigger than our bad things. And I think that's so important. And, happiness and kindness go a long way. They're contagious. And if you're like that, other people will be like that. Exercise is that the fourth one? Yes, fourth one. Reagan always has a saying, the exercise that's best for you is the one that you will do. And I'm not as good at exercise as I wished I was, because sometimes I don't feel up for it. But that doesn't mean that I am not doing it. I actually joined, I got another book, yay. It's called Agascu. And I joined that for 16 weeks to move my muscles, which I hadn't been doing, because I noticed I was sitting slumped and I was doing slump and everything, I was standing slump. I thought, I got to get my back muscles strong, because I'm a golfer, right? So what do? You stand there like that playing golf. And I thought, I've got to get my muscles strong. So I've been going to Agascu. I'm going tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. So it doesn't have to be Agascu, but anything you can do to get your body moving. You have to move. It's part of our health, and our body's been designed to do that. Let's not be couch potatoes and sit there. And then faith is a huge one for me. Everybody has their right to believe what they want to believe. So I'm not here to convince you one way or the other. All I can say is that I believe in sharing my faith. And I don't think it's about religion. I think it's a relationship with God. And I think that because of that, I have faith. I have hope. Hope is my word for 2022. I have trust that God's with me every single day and every single moment, and he will take care of me, and he will lead me on the path that I'm supposed to be at. And if I'm here, I'm going to take advantage of everything I can to help others and give back to others. And if he chooses not to keep me here, that's his choice. And, that's the way it goes. But I'm going to do, there's a saying that, do what you can do and let God do the rest. So that doesn't mean sit there and wait for God to do everything. That means do whatever you can do to make things good in your life. And that's really what I advocate and try to do, and try to share with other people, that we can't just sit back and hope and wish or else, feel sorry for ourselves, because I can tell you what, it's easy to do that. It's so easy to feel sorry for yourself. I have my meltdowns, trust me. Bobby knows full well about them, but I get out of them pretty quickly if I can, and shake myself. Yeah, as Tony Robbins says, get into a different state, and just really try to get to another place where I'm just not feeling sorry for myself anymore, and realize that there's a whole lot of people out there that have it worse than me. You know what? I mean, when I stop and think about it, and I've seen other people, and I read some other stories on Facebook, like, oh my gosh, what am I crabbing about? I don't have it nearly as bad as other people do. So I have to be really grateful for the blessings that I have, and I am. And then I just want to say a couple words, because we're running out of time here, about my Juice Plus regimen, which is kind of why we wanted to get on this call too. So I take our Juice Plus capsules. For those who don't know anything about them, I don't think I have big enough hands for this. So anyway, so I'm just going to do 2 at a time. That'll help. So we have a fruit and veggie capsule. All right. And then we have a berry capsule and an omega capsule. And all of these combined give you like 40 different plant foods. Again, we can't juice this kind of stuff. So this is truly amazing, amazing plant food, amazing Jetson food, whatever you want to call it, plant powders that have actually are doing great things for our body. And it has a food label on it, and not a supplementation. It talks about nutrition facts, and it doesn't say anything about supplements on there. So that's a really cool thing. And then it lists all the fruits and vegetables that you're getting. So it's fantastic. They're easy to take. And if you don't like swallowing a pill, we have our soft chews, fruit, veggie, and berry soft chews, which also Bobby and I use this as dessert because I love dessert. So they're great for dessert. But I can take, and this is something else that's cool. You cannot overdose on fruits and vegetables. So I take 4 of each of these. I take 2 of these. And then if I want to, I can take some soft chews, and I can never overdose. And that's a cool thing. It's like, how many salads can you eat? As many as you want. And that's what it's like. It's like a salad bar in a capsule. And then the other thing, every single day, I try to every single day. I shouldn't say that because that's not always true. Some days I miss, but I try to drink our complete shake mix. It's a protein shake mix that is great fiber. It has a low glycemic index. That is so important. And I have to tell you
again too.
Pardon?
All plants again too.
All plants, yes. It's vegan, it's gluten-free and dairy-free and all of that good stuff. There's nothing in here that's harmful. There's no fake ingredients. It's all natural God earth stuff. It's cool. And it tastes amazing. It doesn't taste like chalk. I love these things. I really do. I love them, both of them. And I mix this one usually with lots of fruit. This one I can mix with, anything that you like. It goes with chocolate. It's terrific. But also, the thing is,
you told me it also helps with nausea, right? When you're going through treatment.
Well, that's true. There was a time there when I could hardly eat anything, not particularly with this treatment, but I'd had another one prior that was not doing well for me. And it was the only thing that I could really eat, if you want to know the truth. Everything else I was like, this is not working for me. And this really kept me going. And that was amazing. And I mixed it up with chia seeds, and that was awesome. And it was like a pudding. And I usually drink this before my blood tests, when I go in for my blood tests, because they're not fasting, but they still check my blood sugars anyway. And my blood sugar is always around 80, 89, something like that when I drink these shakes. If I have anything else, it's usually over 100. So in your blood sugar should always be below 100. So, and one of the drugs that I'm taking actually can raise the blood sugar. So these are, if you got diabetes or you're struggling with high blood sugar of any kind whatsoever, these are the ticket. They work, they really do, and they're delicious. And we have a new fusion shake that just came out. So exciting. It's 25 grams of protein. As we get older, we need protein, lots of protein. And if you work out a lot, you need protein. So this is a more fruity kind of a taste. It's called Fusion, and well worth what it does for you. It's amazing. Again, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, terrific. So that's really my regimen. The only other thing I was going to talk about was the Tower Garden fast. And the Tower Garden, if you, first of all, whoever invited you to the call, thank them for bringing you on. I hope you've learned some things. I kind of zipped through them fast because we didn't have a lot of time. But ask them about Tower Garden. Tower Gardens, you can grow your own produce right on your own patio. If you're in Colorado and or St. Louis or wherever you are, right, BJ, you can't grow right now outdoors, but you can grow indoors too. So here in Florida, we get the opportunity to grow outdoors, all year round, but you can bring it indoors, have grow lights, and you can have your own salad. And I know Missy grows tomatoes and all kinds of flowering vegetables indoors, and it's cool. And there's nothing, it's almost like your little babies, and then you get to enjoy this incredible tasting produce. And then the last thing that I would like to say is, get with the person who invited you to learn more about our products, to learn more about what we do as a community. This community is amazing. Oh my gosh, it has helped me through my journey. And I've gotten so many great suggestions from so many people because of it. And I'm grateful for it. And, it's just part of our lives, part of the fabric of our lives, and we wouldn't be without it. And if you've been thinking all along, gosh, I wish so-and-so would have come on the call with me. Reagan mentioned this is going to be recorded. As soon as the recording comes out, we'll figure out how we can get it to you and share it with them. Or we'll do another one and invite them the next time to make sure that they too can benefit from all these tips. And I may even have more by that time, because I had more this time than I did the last time. So, and the other thing too is we're always looking for people to partner with us in our mission to inspire healthy living around the world. And we talk about around the world because we have a worldwide business. And it's easy, it's rewarding. It gives your heart joy when I talk to somebody on the phone and I can help them maybe have hope where they didn't have hope. That makes me feel like I've given back. And that's what it's all about, is let's all help each other. And with Juice Plus, that really makes it possible to do that. So get with the person who invited you. And I just want to thank you for being here, and just wish you all a blessed evening, and just, go out there and make somebody healthy.
Yes. Patti, thank you so much for all of your tips and sharing your story. You truly are an inspiration. And I don't know if you can see the comments going by, but
I haven't.
Been so inspired. So thank you guys for everybody who joined us tonight. And Patti, thank you. And we will get the recording up so people can watch you again. So thank you and good night.
Thanks, Reagan. Thank you for having me. And thank you to the Peak team for having me as well. I sure appreciate it.
Thanks.
God bless you all.